Welcome back to Campaign 3, the Stormcaller's Fury. We're actually going to pick right off with a small advert. I know. Kind of sneaking that one in there. We are now officially collaborating with Mystery Dice Goblin UK. So if you do want to go grab yourself something, you can get a 10% discount with code WYRD. And we're also running weekly giveaways starting at the end of February, for which you can grab a ticket and be in a chance of winning a mystery pack for free. So there you go. Fun things, I know. But we pick up this session into the final remnant of the battle between the party. How do you spell the code? Exactly how you spell it in our name. Yes. WYRD. But thank you for asking, because I hadn't even thought about that. But yes, we open into the final remnant of the battle between the party and Amma, the drow vampiric sorceress. All around you, the fortress reacts to the sound of their leader's absence, as you begin to hear a cacophony of screeches, screams, and unholy monstrous cries from all around you. Most prominently is back down the corridor towards the prison cells, as you hear the flapping of wings and skittering of talons along stone. We enter into a chase. You have a few seconds to react, so I need all of you to tell me what you would like to instantly do in that moment, as you watch Persephone immediately move, runs, and in a surprising show of strength lifts Roke's corpse from the ground and into her arms.
How is she carrying him?
She picked him up sort of by the legs and flipped him, so now she's fireman carrying him.
Fireman, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And so they're all coming. Like, we just hear the sounds. Can we see anything coming towards us yet?
At the moment, you can't hear. You can't see anything, but you can hear them coming. Yes.
Guys, I think we need to make a move.
Yep. I think it's time to leave.
Yep.
Yeah.
Irish and times.
I will.
Cannon's just gonna knock his bow and just like have it like ready, looking back, but like kind of like jogging backwards as fast as he can move because he's on like death's door at the minute. He doesn't.
Okay.
I was gonna say,
Make
I
a dex check for me as you're
God.
running backwards.
Straight away.
I
roll,
will
okay.
look around at my
22.
fellow party members and see if anyone needs healing, and then heal them.
Wonderful.
Cannon's just gonna just like put his hand up, please. As he's drawing the arrow.
I run over and give you 15 points of lay on hands.
Wow.
Very nice.
Cool.
Ooh.
And that still leaves me with 5 if anyone goes down.
Keenan will do a quick look round to find the best possible exit to get away, whether that's back the way we came or another way out of this room, and then beeline for it, leading the way.
Okay, yeah. Make a perception check for me to try and spot the
Pleasure.
safest route.
That's a 6.
At the moment you start to see stone crack and debris start to fall from the ceiling where the explosion of Armor's violent death happened. You can't really see a way out at the moment.
Okay, guys, I would love to leave right now, but we need to find a good exit.
I think away from that noise.
While this is happening, Zephyr's gonna use her handy dandy trusty circlet to cast message.
Oh, okay.
And say, and we're gonna message Thorn.
Okay.
and say, no, what is she gonna say? Hi, it's Zephyr. Um, we are in grave danger as per usual. Hopefully see you soon. But also, if you could help, that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah. She's not great at the whole using message thing. Her thoughts are too jumbly.
There's a couple of seconds before you hear a response back from Thorn. Good. On my way.
Amazing.
Anyone else?
Just checking my memory. There's one way in, one way out, isn't there? Like the
Mhm.
way we came in is the only way out.
No, there is another way out. Roke said it before he died, unfortunately.
Right.
Like the room we're in, there's
Anyone got
another.
speak with dead?
There's another door we can go out of, right?
That's what he said. Yep.
Cool. Can we see that other door in this room, or is it just the one where all of this noise is coming from?
I would say not at the moment. You wouldn't be able to see it. No.
Okay. Everyone, get pushing random bricks and see what opens. And she's gonna like go up to like walls and essentially be like, something open.
Okay. Make an investigation roll for me.
I'm not very good at this, so let's see. Oh, a 10.
God damn. There's some low rolls
Yeah.
going around tonight. You're frantically pushing pieces of stone, and you can't seem to find any gaps within the walls immediately within your view. And just to remind you all, there's this vast open chamber with a obsidian staircase almost up to a large throne that sits at the top. It's flanked by pillars throughout the sort of lay up to that throne with a long red carpet.
Just gonna make a beeline straight to where the throne is and like try and investigate that area for an exit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
So
follow
make
along.
an investigation while you're doing that. I'd say, Kaelin, you see this first is the beginning bursting forth from the darkness of that corridor. Hunched creatures, some with too many arms. One has those shadowy wings, and you can now see the sharp talons skittering across the stone as it walks upside down along the corridor wall. Ceiling.
Seen us yet?
They know where you are, yes.
Can I, as I've like readied my bow as I'm walking back, can I take a back shot of the one with the wings?
Yep, sure.
Also, remind me again. What does the and like they're coming through? Is it a doorway that they're coming through?
Yep,
Yeah.
they're
How
just
big
coming
is the
through
doorway?
the same corridor that you guys went down.
How big is it? Like the entrance.
I
Across.
think it was about.
It was a
50.
double doorway, so it's about 6 feet.
Okay. This is gonna be a pot shot. Zephyr's gonna cast Moonbeam on the doorway.
Nice.
Oh.
My
Okay.
longbow shot missed, by the way. I rolled a 2. Well, I rolled 9 total. But...
Yes, that definitely missed. I was going to argue that maybe it wouldn't, but no, that misses.
So for
Let's
the
have a look.
next minute, everything that comes through the door, like through that, has to take a Constitution saving throw.
Nice. Okay. So I'm gonna roll a percentile dice and see just how many you get. Okay. Okay. So you watch as most of these hunched over aberration like half zombie creatures begin to flood through the doorway, instantly burning upon contact. You watch a couple begin to slow down, and they're pushing their way through the light as this shadowy aura exists around them. That winged beast also hiding himself with his own darkness. Oh.
My investigation was a 5, by the way.
Yep, there's nothing around the throne as far as you can tell. And you know that within 10, 20 seconds, these guys will begin to pour through.
Just a
Hey,
random thought.
You're good at seeing things. Find the exit.
I was gonna say, I'll have a look around, but I was also gonna say, as part of that, can I see if there's any like window panes open, like up, like glass panes of windows at the top, anywhere?
No, because they're vampires. They don't have windows.
Okay, just a thought. It might have been there before. Yeah, I'll have a look around in general, see if there's a.
Yeah. So you are off making another investigation. What's everyone else doing to try and stop them from coming through?
And then I was gonna hold this for when we were running away for a bottleneck, but let's do it now. Either just behind or just in front of the moonbeam, depending on what I can see. I'm going to cast Nayfair's Mischief.
Oh, you dick. Remind me, rules of written, what it does again.
You fill a 20-foot cube you can see within range with Fey and Draconic magic.
Yep.
You roll on the Mischievous Surge table to determine the magic effect produced, and roll again at the start of each of your turns until the spell ends. A minute.
Yep.
And you can move it up to 10 feet before you roll. So, we will start with... I'll roll my d4 if I can pick it up. Bouquets of flowers appear in that 20-foot cube, and each creature in the cube must succeed on a dex save or be blinded until the start of my next turn, as the flowers spray water in their faces.
So cool.
Okay.
Where's
You
that
watch
from? That's so cool.
as these random flowers and petals erupt from the ground in front of where he created the magic, and it just bursts forward in this beautiful display, almost very contrast to the dark and bloodthirsty monsters that are slowly managing, some of them, to come through the moonbeam. Some others are crisping up into ash that falls along the floor, only to be replaced with another set of footprints or wings or talons, and all of these very hunched creatures are beginning to claw their way through. Their eyes, glowing red, glaze over as this spell takes effect, and they begin to sniff around the room, trying to find a scent to pick out. They know that people were in here, but they are now blind, so they don't know where particularly you are.
To answer your question, Ben, it's from Treasury of Dragons.
Yes.
Oh, very cool.
Ben,
your
your investigation, how did it go?
It was a 13. So
That's actually good enough. You finally met it. So the DC was a 12, which none of you met for some reason. But yes, as you're backing away and making sure you keep enough range, glancing around, peering, you spot that behind the left-hand side of the stairs that lead up to the throne, there's a small gap. I say small, there's a door-sized gap that moves the stone inwards, almost like if you were to walk behind the stairs, you could access somewhere else.
Yeah, sort of like a pseudo hidden passage.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I'll point that out to the others and say, right, start funneling through.
I yell, I will head up the rear. I am doing pretty healthy, so you guys go. I'll hold them off. And like she basically just waits until everyone else is in the corridor and then also runs in the corridor.
Okay.
Or whatever's behind there.
Yep. So the majority of you reach behind that doorway and you run down a corridor to meet a door on the other side. It is locked. I'm not going to make you go through that. One of you, probably Keenan, tries it, and it is locked. You can hear those creatures begin to move around, and for Nim, you watch as they're sniffing the air, their eyes glazed over just begin to move towards your direction. What is your AC?
It's 18.
Okay. You take... make me a dex save as well for me.
Oh, that's 6.
You take... Oh my god. 24 points of slashing damage.
Oh god. That's more than Nim's max health.
That's more than my max health.
Nim is down. She was doing so well.
I will say you were backing up, so you're probably... I'd say you're probably just crossed that, and as you turned to check where the rest of the party were, down that long corridor, you get hit from behind with this sharp razor talon, and then another, as these beings trying to tumble through this narrow doorway begin to just pile upon you.
Can I say, like, knowing that everyone's, like, running away as she's dying, she, like, screams at the top of her lungs.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah.
Hearing that, Caden will literally pivot on the spot and run back as soon as he can. Try and pick her up. It's going to take a couple of us to pick her up and move at any pace.
Yes.
I would like to first move Nathir's Mischief 10 feet towards the corridor.
Okay.
If it hits anyone, it's still the flowers.
Yep.
I would also like to try and pick the lock.
So yeah, make me a thieves' tools for the lock. So a sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand is 15.
Your lockpick breaks.
We'll have to go. I'll just turn around to a strong person and say, "Barbarian's lockpick," and I believe Seth said she had one spell slot left, so I'm going to use my final bardic inspiration to.
So wait, for who?
Persephone.
Oh, Persephone. Okay.
So I'm going to use my final bardic inspiration to go. If we're running, we need to get Nim up. Do your best. So she gets a d6 to add to any healing.
Mm-hmm. I'll say for this purposes, because I have to get Persephone out, because obviously she's not here, she's going to cast Healing Word, which is... 7 points of healing for you.
Wonderful. As Nim like comes around, she grabs the healing potion out of her pocket and just downs it.
Okay.
Because she still has that.
Yeah, we're not doing so much combat as it is just a collective initiative from all of you, so that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. She's just.
Kaylin, what are you doing to try and hold them off?
I think because I've already used. Would my Never mind, I gave it away, didn't I? I was going to say if I still got my rapier, but I gave it to the dude who died,
Actually.
didn't
Yes, you
I?
did.
I suppose in that case, I will literally... Is there, like, any, like, liquid along the floor or anything like that? Like blood?
I mean,
Where we're running?
Nim's blood is on the floor.
Okay. No, I was just curious
And
if
like
there was,
this
like,
dark
blood in general,
ichor
so blood
pouring
floor.
from some of the monsters, splatting all over her face.
I suppose I'll just pick the one that's near the front and just try and shoot with my longbow, just to slow them down, see if I can get it to,
Yeah,
like,
sure,
trip
roll
up.
to hit.
2 6. Let me turn my mouse back on. Just cleaning that. It's a 23 to hit,
Hits.
and that's 8 points of piercing damage.
Okay. So you'll watch as Kalen turns his bow horizontal and fires off 3 arrows that hit the 3 most close creatures. One that's towering over Nim, that blood-like ichor dripping from its mouth, just immediately thrown back from the force of the arrows. Nim, you are free to run without getting hurt.
I will do that.
What are we doing with the door?
Nim just kind of looks at people as like, door?
Yeah,
Smash
so
it.
you're a good 20 feet away from them
Okay.
as they're struggling with the door.
I will.
Do you mind if I try
Ru-
something just
run.
before we try and break it?
Oh, go for it.
Could I try pouring the violet acid I have on the lock? See if it'll weaken it.
Yeah, you can if you want.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want any check? of
Nope.
kind, or...
It doesn't take a check for you to pour liquid on something. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
You just pour it over,
Um,
watch it begin to sizzle across the metal and the wood.
Then I'll say, have at it. Once I pour the the acid over it, see if anyone wants to take a swing.
Nim essentially just charges at the door, like shoulder, to try and like burst through it.
Okay. There is a thunderous crack of wood and splinters as if we watch in a sort of parallel view of the corridor, you all tumble through this door in like that explosion of wood and metal. Scrambling to your feet, you begin running down the next room. Very, very simple corridor. It just appears to be segmented so that they could lock things as and when they needed them. You do notice a couple more prison cells. A lot of the doors have been broken open or swinging. But you don't see any other creatures ahead of you. Behind you, that clawing and scrabbling, and you begin to hear the whooshing sound as the creature also enters above you, flapping those long leathery wings shrouded in this wisps of shadow. Ahead of you, another long hallway stretches before you, but various different pieces of the ground have begun to fall away and splinter. It looks, as you approaching it, full force running, it looks like part of the fortress is beginning to crumble, revealing the very beautiful elvic runes underneath the stone and moss. But time has not been kind to this either, and with the force of various eruptions and debris falling from the ceiling, it has smashed its way into the ocean below. I need everyone to make an athletics or acrobatics, depending on how you want to do this, but there is currently a very large drop, an open space that you either need to jump, run, leap, find some way to get across.
Try and jump across.
Mhm.
What would that be, acrobatics or?
Depends on how you want to jump.
Oh, just try and like do like long jump style. Just like take a bit of a run up and just
Yeah.
vault as hard as I can.
Yeah, so you can use acrobatics for that. There's no problem.
So I was
So
rolling.
17. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I was just saying, I was rolling athletics. I rolled like shit. I'm gonna use the inspiration that I have to roll that again.
Okay.
Nice.
Because I rolled a nat 1. That's not happening.
That makes sense.
Are you kidding me?
It didn't happen, did it? Boat
Yes, it was the second nat 1. I was.
chick.
Oof.
I'm upset. So angry at dice.
I rolled a 5 for acrobatics.
Okay.
Keenan rolled a 19 to parkour that shit. Just
Okay.
like run up, spring, tumble in the air, bounce off a wall. Yeah.
Okay. I will say because of how you built your different characters. Nim was the first person to run through the door. So you watch her run, realize she's not going to make it, and sort of skid to a stop before the opening. Zephyr bumps into her, and you all watch Keenan sprint past you all, doing that very acrobatic. And as you land, you check back to see who else has come, and you watch those two come to a halt. Also seeing the giant tumbling figures of various different creatures pouring through the doorway.
Oh, fuck.
Kaylin
Mm-hmm.
also makes it.
Yep.
Just landing very gracefully beside you to see that concern on your face take hold, and you also look back to see this happen.
Yeah, my God.
Oh, this is the one time where rope would be useful, and I don't think any of us carry it, do we?
I tell Nim to grab hold of me.
I have rope. But yes, I will grab hold.
And I cast fly. And I fly across.
Okay, I need you to make a strength check for me.
No! That's a 14.
Meets it.
Yay!
So you watch as she casts the spell, and this beautiful aura of wind begins to whoosh, sort of pushing her and levitating her off the ground, grabs hold of Nim by the forearm and begins leaping off. And there's a moment where you notice that there's a slight descent, and she passes out of view before rocketing back right above you to drop Nim onto the other side. You can feel the muscles in your arms begin to strain as you're lifting her across, and there is a slight twinge of pain that rocks you, but gently, well, not so gently, tumbling Nim onto the other side.
I like to think that Nim, like, just lands and, like, rolls onto her feet. But I'm not sure she would be that graceful in this moment.
Holy shit. Okay. Can someone make a dex? So nominate one of your four to make a dex dexterity check for me.
Be me or Keenan. If Keenan wants to take it, you can.
Yeah, I'll take it.
And I'd say you can do this with advantage if Kaylin helps you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you very much for the advantage. That's 16.
Excellent. You realize that 4 of you have made it across. As you look back to see Persephone's running a little bit slower, having carried Roke this entire way. Her breath begins to pant, and you can see the eruption of small frost as the air begins to chill with the presence of all of these undead. She throws him, bearing in mind I rolled for this, she throws him across and hits Caleb with his body. That just sort of tumbles him to the floor like, before leaping herself and almost makes it. before Keenan grabs her by the wrist and sort of hoiks her up. You manage to help her with her leap.
Yay.
You are all across as you watch some of these creatures now caught up to the edge just begin to spill over the side of the gaps, falling beneath. Some skitter up the sides of the walls, cracking into the stone, and you watch pieces of dust fall from the ceiling. The winged creature can't even make through as it furls out its body to the once very graceful but creepy form, realizes it won't fit, and you see it skitter off to one side. As you all turn to run, Kaelin, on the floor, covered by Roke's body, you watch as a hand punches through the dirt and moss stone floor and begins to try and claw and try and find you. And you all watch as down the corridor more and more like half-eaten bodies and limbs begin to pour out of the stone of this corridor. You can see small runes and very intricate tattoos and carvings into their flesh. This is the dead that were buried here, that have now awoken to try and keep
lovely
people. So I need all of you to make some dex a dex save, or if you want to try other ways of getting around them, you can do those as well. As you help Kaelin to his feet, Persephone hoiks Roke's body back over her arm and just begins running down the hallway. Boots one of the hands that tries to grab her, and you watch its fingers sort of sail off as she just sprints full force.
She's been badass.
Apparently so.
How long is the corridor?
I'd say 100 feet.
Okay.
It's very long, and it sort of twists and winds as you are all making your way through there.
Okay. Won't be jumping over it then. Keenan will kind of like quick look, map out kind of like a path to like dance around the limbs and just try and do the whole lot. Just keep going, but dancing side to side, back, forward, whatever it takes to... And that's a 23.
Excellent. Yeah, you watch Keenan do this almost very intricate, bit weird, but dance, essentially, of very elven grace. It's not even the floors that some of these limbs are coming through. One, like, head pokes through, like, bursts through the ceiling, snapping at him, and he just punches it as he's moving. What's everyone else doing?
I think I'd be helping the others that aren't as nimble as me and Keenan through. But as we're moving, I'm going to chuck a smoke grenade in the corridor behind us to try and slow them down.
Yeah, you watch it begin to erupt into this very thick, acrid, black smoke. And only the glowing eyes of the undead running towards you. I mean, yeah, very easily slows them down a little bit.
Did you want a dex check from me as well?
Yep.
To helping the others? Is it just a straight dex or saving throw?
Dex save.
Oh god. That's not very good. What does it come out to? Come on, D&D Beyond, catch up. That's an 8.
Okay. With the struggle of trying to throw that thing backwards, and one of the hands grabs you by the ankle, and you slow down a little bit more than the rest.
Yep.
Am I still flying?
Zephyr will be flying. Nim, you're running.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm just gonna fly through.
Yep, you don't need to make a check. You're fine.
I would like to kind of run. I'm not trying to dodge anything, but anything that grabs at me, I'm like stamping.
Okay.
like trying to.
Yeah, make an attack roll with your weapon.
I had oil I could use. Well.
Let's hope I roll better than normal. That's 17.
Okay. As you're all running down the corridor, Keenan very nimbly sprinting down there. You watch Zephyr and him are pretty close to Persephone. He was right at the front. Kalen struggles a little bit far behind as one of his ankles is grabbed. But Nim, you watch as some of the walls of this corridor smash inwards with an explosion of stone. This giant, almost too big for the space, this zombie-esque creature with flesh that's dripping off its bones because it can no longer hang there. Black liquid dripping from its eyes. You just swing up your sword, and as you're going past, just lop its head off. Then it goes bouncing across the corridor. You burst through, pushing the corpse to one side. A little bit further behind than the others, but you're making your way. Kalen, make a Constitution saving throw, please. And then you can make your Dex save again.
That's a 4 for the con.
Okay.
And Dex 16.
You take 4 points of necrotic damage, but then stamp on the hand, and it's dead.
Okay.
And begin sprinting off. Ahead, it opens outwards into the open air. Ahead, I said ahead twice. In front of you, massive iron doors loom shut. The front entrance of this fortress. Rusted, but still very fortified hinges, unyielding. You can see from the shadows, small hands and talons and fangs begin to bump into the metal as from the shadows, the horde barrels around, beginning to flank all of you. The creatures from behind you are also picking up on speed, and Kalen barely manages to dodge out the way as one of those claws swipes by his head. In front of that, beyond the metal, you can see parts where people have climbed up the gates and ripped off ragged bandages and clothing. And a couple are speared on top of the portcullis-esque railings. Small trickles of blood still dripping from their warm bodies. Several battled longboats rock against the stone pier as prisoners who have survived are desperately working to untie them. Overhead, those black winged creatures, much like the one you saw before, circle above them, their screeches tearing through the storm-laced sky, and you watch one of them swoop down, and this eruption of silver light comes forth from one of the prisoners before he hits the ground, lifeless and grey. You must get through the gate or over it, convince the prisoners in some way, either to calm them or to help you undo the boats. Or, if you want to, you can try and undo the heavy chain and bolt that surrounds that gate as well. You also need to keep in mind of those flying beasts ahead and the slowly oncoming horde, and find a way to escape. What do we like to do? So I'm going to allow all of you one thing you can do, and then we'll move forward with a initiative-esque style.
Keenan is going to shout to the party that he'll take the prisoners and loose the boats. Get out any way you can, and he's just going to keep going forward, trying to climb over the door, get out that way.
Yep. Cool. Kaelin, what are we doing?
So where the boats are there are we like at like a portcullis bit that leads to the boats, and it's like an open courtyard where we are now? Or...
Yeah, so you're in an open courtyard with a massive set of iron gate and fences in front of you. You can see the pier beyond where those prisoners have scrambled up the sides of walls or maybe come from a different area that are trying to collect themselves and undo the boats, but they're too scared of everything that's flying ahead and attacking them.
Quick question to everyone else. Has anyone got any of their holy water left?
No.
I do.
No. Okay. In that case, I will pull out my oil that I've got and create like a barrier line, like a safe distance away from where we are, just that I can ignite if I need to get by some time. And then I'm going to perch myself up towards where the dockyard bit is, but on higher ground, so I can keep an eye out for stuff coming in and keep an eye on those overhead creatures and ready my bow.
Okay. Make a... Oh, God. Just make a straight dex check, again, to see how much oil you can get and how far spread out you can get it.
The dex is +3. Let's use the physical dice this one for fun. So that is a 12.
Yeah, good enough. You create sort of a semicircle that you know you could get a decent amount of them if you set it alight. Whereabouts are you arranging yourself? You said...
Like somewhere towards where the others are going for the docks, but just like on a little bit higher ground, like on a bit of rubble or something, just somewhere a little bit higher up.
Okay.
If possible.
Yeah, you still have metal fences and a gate to get through.
Yeah.
Okay. Zephyr, you're flying. You could get over those gates if you wanted to.
I will not, because wait, what's... actually, maybe I will.
It's the flying creepies. Air battle.
I will remain, like, hovering on the side where my friends still are. Are any of the creepy demon thingies, like, close?
They will be.
Zephyr's gonna, like, ready herself to throw up probably Sacred Flame.
I mean, you can. They're within enough range for you to do it.
Okay, I'm just gonna throw out a Sacred Flame.
Sure.
Dex 13.
Fails, and you watch one or two of them just erupt into this holy fire in the distance. Persephone sort of follows your lead as you watch, or rather hear, this very odorous bell fill the space, and 2 or 3 more skittering creatures just explode.
Ding dong bitch.
Ding dong bitch.
Ding dong bitch.
Anyone else? The last person's Nim. So Nim, what are you doing?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Huh?
I would like to
Right.
try and climb. I would like to rage, but I would like to try and climb a fence and kind of yell up to Zephyr and be like, "If I get to the top, can you fly me over the spikes?"
Uppies, uppies.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, make an athletics check.
please be better than that one. Please be better than that one. 22.
Does it?
Ah.
You run up the side of the metal and leap, and at the last second, Zephyr quickly grabs you and takes that momentum in a pendulum to throw you over across the
Yeet.
spikes. Yeet. And you tumble onto the ground, do a roll, and you sort of hear the scraping of metal and stone as your armor just gently rubs against it before you're back on your feet and making your way towards the prisoners and the boats.
Amazing. That's the best thing I could have hoped for.
The rest of you, watch as the tumbling creatures begin to hone in on you. They're about 10 feet away. You can see some are insectoid in nature with giant arcing pincers that's almost spider-like. Others are half vampiric creations, aberrations that are barely even sentient, with dark black eyes and that dripping ichor. Kaelin, I assume what you want to activate your oil?
As soon as a few of them cross into the field of it, yeah, what I'll do is I'll throw. I'll save my alchemist fire. I'll throw my torch at it that I've got. Just
Okay. Yeah, very easy for you to do. Lob it overhead, and you watch it sail through the air before igniting the oil upon contact. I'll roll some saves. Okay. You manage to get maybe 10 or 12 that spill through that immediately begin to burn from the feet up, still staggering towards you. You bat like a talon out of the way that's on fire as they drop onto the ground, but there's still more that replace it. Keenan.
Okay, so Keenan's gonna get up a little bit higher, and he's then gonna use minor illusion to do like a trumpeting sound, you know, like the cavalry's coming.
Yeah.
And then in like the most confident, commanding voice possible, like kind of call out to the prisoners that to still yourselves, help is on the way, loose the boats, and we will see the end of this day.
Okay, make a persuasion or intimidation, depending on what tone you want to give it.
Persuasion. I want to inspire them to stop being scared and just get on and get those boats through.
Okay.
And that would be a 21.
Amazing. You watch them immediately freeze, and they look up and then look back at you, and a couple of them, you watch a very muscular half-elf just looks around, begins to unwrap some of the ropes and help some prisoners jump into the boat, and he pushes it off. 2 of the boats manage to get away. You watch a couple of those creatures follow down, swooping, and grabs one person out of the air, into the air with their talons lifting him high above, and then drops, and you watch his corpse hit the stone floor again in a splatter of blood.
Lovely.
Yeah, lovely. Zephyr.
Zephyr's gonna follow. So wait, who's on each side of the fence?
So Keenan and Kaelin are on one, and Persephone are on one side, and
Yeah.
Nim is the only other person that's got through.
Made it over.
Yeah.
Does anyone need a hand up? Otherwise, I'm gonna go over.
Keenan will raise one arm up.
Okay. Zephyr's gonna try and lift him up and over the gate.
Yeah, so you make a strength check, Keenan, if you can make an athletics to sort of help her.
Absolutely.
Not good. It's a 5.
Okay.
I got that 20.
There is a moment where you run up and push off a piece of rubble and part of the metal in an attempt to lift the weight, and for you, Zephyr, it looks like you're carrying him. He did all of the work. He just leapt over it, and you're just like, just passing you through, yeah. And you hit the ground.
By fall.
Yeah. Nim, what are we doing? You're on the other side.
Nim runs to the first boat that she can get to and starts helping to untie.
Mm-hmm. Immediately, you crouch down, begin to help undo some more ropes. Anything else you'd like to do?
No, she's kind of focused on untying the boats and trying to convince the prisoners to just get in the fucking boat. We'll deal with it.
Let's have a look.
Gonna be one brat that just goes, no, not doing it. You take me.
Kaylin, can you make 1, 2, 3? Yeah, Kaylin, can you make a Constitution saving throw, please? Persephone passed hers.
16.
Good enough. You barely manage to avoid. No, you get. That's why I did it. You get hit by a raking claw as one of the creatures tumbles from above you. You can feel this cold pain begin to seep into you. But there's something about your heritage, maybe, or your constitution, as it were. You just fight back that pain and you begin to feel it fade back again. There was a numbing sensation, and you know that if you'd let it spread any further, you may have had some restriction to your movement.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to do?
Am I, like, on the other side, like, waiting to climb up still at this point?
Yep.
Or... Right,
Yep.
I'll attempt to climb up on top to get on, like, the very top of the where I need to climb over. Then, if I manage to get to the top, I'm gonna look roughly to where I think we came from, from Thorn's ship, and I'm gonna pull out my longbow and fire my light arrow like a flare in that general direction, just as Eddie hoped to give me an indication we need you now.
Yeah, I mean it's a like metal fence, so you can easily just put your arrow through the gap and do it before you need to run.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, the rest of you that have now made it across to the pier, you watch that arrow go sailing into the air, lit with this beautiful, radiant, bluish light that hits the sky. Can I have an athletics check from you, please?
Yep. That's a 10. Not the best.
You slip on your own blood that seemed to have coated some of the metal and bump your head against part of the railing and tumble
Very
a little
brave.
bit further down. You do land to sort of look up as Persephone takes out her mace. I think she has a mace.
Yeah, I think it is. It's a mace or a morning star.
It is mace. Yeah, and smashes the lock off the padlock holding the gate shut, and watch the chains tumble to the floor before she opens it. Looks at you, sort of winks, picks up Roke and moves through. And you're half on the floor before you collect yourself and very able to join her.
I get whatever steroids Persephone on
she's on something, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Mama picking up a car steroids at the minute.
I will say, just for saving me more description and stuff, Kozar has been with you this whole time and very sticking with wherever Persephone is. There's a couple of times where some of the creatures went to reach out and he just full force punched one, essentially like you're punching a shark in the nose. There's this huge, like I said, insectoid creature with large knife-like legs, and he punches it straight in the face and immediately hits the deck. But he is still with you. The swirling, fiendish vultures above grab another prisoner and fly off as his blood rains down on some of the others. They're all just like, ah! But most of the longships have left, and there is, ironically, so weird how this happens, one boat left that's still rocking against the, it's crazy, against the stone. It is about that time that you watch the gate where you were, as brief check back to see where the rest of those creatures begin to spill forth through the open doorway now, as an explosion of stone and rock, followed by another sailing whistle of a cannonball that barely misses maybe Zephyr's head because you're in the air, as the black sails of the Sable come into view beyond the mist.
Yeah.
You can see the slowly ant-like scurrying of different crew members, and as one of the sweeping vultures leaps down to try and catch Zephyr out of midair, the water erupts as you watch this very blue-skinned, quite flamboyantly dressed crew member come leaping out of the air and spears him halfway with a trident before carrying him back into the water. The crew of the Sable have arrived, and they will give you guys a little bit of help with getting everyone to the boat. So we're back up. What is everyone doing this time?
Guess I'll just. Is there any of the other prisoners left, or is it just us at this point?
There's a couple that are sitting in the boat, sort of gesturing for you guys to hurry up.
I'll make my way towards the boat and just fire off a couple of pot shots as I'm on my way.
Yeah, roll to hit. So you're just, when everyone's rolling to hit, this is taking like a couple of swings or firing off a couple of arrows at the horde, the swarm, or various different parts of it.
That's 22 for 6.
Yeah, you managed to hit 3 or 4 that just tumble onto the stone again. A lot of the scrambling creatures that were following you exploded, and there's a brief pause of their bodies and other creatures that follow them before they are replaced. But the cannonball seemed to have stopped them in their tracks, and only the flying, shadow-covered, winged creatures are left.
How many shadow creatures are left?
Maybe 15.
Okay. So Keenan's going to turn his attention to them and is going to pull out 2 kind of like ordinary daggers and kind of like flick them into whatever he can hit that way, because he recognises they're the main threat at the moment as they're going to be escaping.
Sure, yeah, roll to hit.
Kind of just
Go for it.
slow them down, anything he can to reduce that. 21 to hit.
Hits. So you watch as a couple of them hit the floor.
And a 24 to hit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a lot of damage, but like he's just
No, you've killed a
disperse
couple
it.
of them, yeah. Zephyr, your turn.
Sorry, what am I doing?
Not really turn, but what are you doing?
Oh, right. What am I doing? I think at this point Zephyr will have like come down from flying because I suspect it's been a while. And at the lovely trying to think. She would just be like lobbing off sacred flames at like anything that came too close.
Sure. Yeah, you watch. You all watch as 1 and then 2 and then 3, 4, 5 are all just little pops and beautiful golden fireworks of these vultures exploding into blood and gore that rain back down upon you. So there's a very contrasting. Oh, that's beautiful. Some of it got in my mouth.
Disgusting. Yeah.
Nim, what are you up to?
Zephyr just yells, "Everybody close your mouths."
Kane's just holding vials in the air.
I think Nim kind of gestures everyone towards the boat, but stands not in the boat on the thing, so that if any of the shadow creatures actually get close enough, she will like swing with her axe at them.
Yeah, you all tumble into the boat. Maybe one more large creature skitters across the floor, and Nim cleaves off the front two legs, and it comes sliding to a stop right before her foot. Everyone jumps into the boat, and Kozar pushes it off as it begins to float towards the Sable. Persephone is currently kneeling above Rogue's body, and you watch like a sputtering, glowing light coming from her, almost like she's trying to cast a spell, and it's just not taking effect of whatever she's trying. There's a ghostly white figure of a woman screaming that passes by Kozar, and he just flips them off. As the fortress defenses have been reactivated, but all of you know what they are, so it's like, fuck that. You are a good distance, but very much closer to the Sable, and some of the remaining aerial creatures of the undead are following you. You watch as another prisoner on a boat that they can't quite row as quick as you, mainly because they're probably anemic, but is picked up into the air and screams as they are devoured in midair. Sort of watching a flock of seagulls fight over a chip, but a little bit more scary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Denounced to a chip.
So I need one of you to help Kozar row, and then obviously everyone else, whatever you're doing.
I will help Kozar row, as I have the strength and absolutely no range.
That makes sense. Make a strength check for me.
Offered 9.
9.
Yep.
I mean, the average is out, so that's okay. Kozar rolled a 19 plus his
Okay.
strength, which is like
Thank you, Koz.
plus 4, so 23. He helps you gain a bit of rhythm, and there is a moment where Persephone stops her spell just to look up, and she gets a little bit distracted as you watch the rippling muscles of this half-orc as he's pulling back. You can see those back muscles and like the tendons and the details underneath that thin layer of skin before she looks back, and there is a small tear as she's trying to revive Rogue but receiving no response. If someone can make a perception check for me.
I'm not particularly good at perception. I was just going to say, while that's happening with Kozar, that distracts Keenan for a couple of seconds from hurling vicious mockery insults at the flying bats.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, there's the dun 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 dun. Huh. Oh, sorry.
Kozar.
Yeah, you do all realize there's certain appeal that Kozar does have. He is the spitting, not quite spitting image, but is very reminiscent of a young Captain Thorn. Yes, what would everyone else like to be doing?
I rolled a 12 on perception.
Yeah, that's good enough. There is a couple of charms missing from his hair. There's a soft bump as you're all looking around and checking to see a couple more vultures be fired off a little bit further than their trajectory by 1 arrow or a crossbow bolt, and one final one goes to swoop to leap at Keenan and just erupts into blood all over him, or black ichor, as a cannonball just straight, almost right in its face, just fires off, and you watch that cloud of gun smoke, revealing the very flamboyant and elegant hat of Captain Thorne, who sort of grunts and throws down the rope ladder for you guys to jump up. There are wooden ladders at each side of the boat, which you see a couple of the other prisoners are scrambling up, but because of where you've put yourselves, you're sort of in the middle of the two, so he's just giving you one.
Well, timed as usual, Captain.
Well, someone gave me a call and I arrived.
I meant the cannon shot.
Oh, right, yes. Jump aboard. Doesn't look like they're coming, so we should be all right.
I don't know you guys, but I think my bed's calling. If they can hold them off.
Yep.
How are we getting this body onto the ship?
There is a moment where he looks down and he's fixed upon the corpse before he shakes his head.
Nim, you said you had rope?
I do have rope.
Oh.
I like get the rope out. As I'm getting it out, I also ask, what about our tiefling friend that's around the back? Do we reckon he's alive?
Make a perception check for me to sift your eyes through the various different prisoners.
Perception. Yeah. 11.
You do see a flash of purple.
Okay.
But you can't. They're sort of crowded a little bit, so you can't quite tell.
Oh, I
Also-
actually have advantage on perception. Hang on.
They're also anemic. They just look very similar. They start to blur into each
It's
other.
quite pale.
Yeah.
Actually, a 16.
Oh,
'Cause I
yeah.
have
And then you
advantage.
sift through and see that sparkling starlight diamond complexion, and realize that you can see Talus is still within them.
Awesome. I then return to whatever it is we're doing with this rope. I assume tying it around a rope to like.
Yeah, like to try and like lift him up onto the.
Yeah. A
ship.
couple of crew
I
members
assume-
also help you as they hoist the body and very delicately lay it on the deck.
I guess now that they're like out of imminent danger, Zephyr's also gonna like go over to the body and see if there's anything she can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, make a
Um,
medicine check for me.
That's a 9. I can't roll that
This guy is dead.
well. Shit.
There's blood and stuff.
This might be like quite cold, but Kaelin's gonna search Roke's person to see if he can find anything relating that might help.
I feel like Persephone would be very
Yeah,
pissed.
she's gonna probably
She would
slap
be, yeah.
him, but I'm gonna try because
Okay, yeah, make a investigation roll at disadvantage. Please.
investigation.
Please tell me it's a nat 20.
Oh, you got your wish. It was a nat 1 for the disadvantage.
You go to begin rifling through his pockets and immediately clocked round the face. She rolled a natural 20. As she
Yes!
punches you, you take 10 points of bludgeoning damage.
Are you down?
No, I'm down to 2 health.
Oh
And
my
you
God.
sort of, there is that definite crack, and you hit the wood.
I was just trying to help. As he's, like,
Did not
spits up a
appreciate
tooth.
it at all, and she's just glaring at you.
He just spits out one of his teeth, just like, okay, I got the message.
You watch as Kozar sort of puts his arms on her shoulders and raises her to her feet and moves her away from the rest of you, and they seem to be talking somewhat. And there's a gentle way that she leans into him a little bit, keeping to
It's gonna sound
themselves.
weird. Are Roke's eyes open or closed?
They are. That's an excellent question. I think Persephone probably would have closed them at some point.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
Zephyr asks a crew member if there's any spare sheets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very quickly able to go grab you one.
Yeah, and she covers him up.
Yeah. You watch as he grabs a cream, darker, white, greyish tarp and places it over, and you do see some parts of it begin to darken even now. With blood. Before you did that, you did notice that although he had clutched his throat, there was like long scar marks of open wounds and like what appeared to be the impact of arrows in part of his shoulder, and along one of his arms there was a long jagged cut.
Mm-hmm.
But you place it over him, and there's a little bit of that heavy air over all of you.
Just before Keenan succumbs to the adrenaline crash, he's going to look around for the pirate that leaped out of the water.
Yep.
And stabbed the dude. Just going to kind of like make his way towards him, and then just as he's within 5 feet, is going to faint.
Okay. Yeah, he catches you. He's like, oh my, are you okay?
He's just going to play unconscious.
I'm gonna make a medicine check.
Under Zephyr's breath, she goes, "He's so dramatic."
You all hear
I
her.
love that.
This one needs some medical attention, and he throws Keenan to the floor and just begins pushing on his chest.
It's only effective if you break a rib.
Pushes a little bit harder. Keenan, you take 1 point of bludgeoning damage.
It's fine, I'll take it.
You feel a crack. And then he leans over and lips to lips blows a load of air into your mouth, at which point snot pours out.
My hero. Yeah, full on damsel, you saved me
This guy's an idiot.
performance.
He's like, I'm so glad you're okay. If you want, I'm sure one of those clerics can give you some attention.
I think I'll be okay with some rest. If you could just help me make my way to my room.
Of course. And
appreciate
you will watch this man gently accompanies Keenan to his room. There is a moment that you look across and you see that wide-brimmed hat of Thorn who's talking to Persephone and Kozar. You watch an exchange of parchment between them. Thorn giving Persephone something. Again, they seem very reserved, and Persephone's instinctively leaning on Kozar at this point. They move across and towards sort of the front of the ship, and Thorn walks away. The ship has already begun moving, the crew helping some of the prisoners, giving them water or rations, or showing them places that they can, maybe some extra bunks down with the crew. It seems that adrenaline is beginning to to wear off, and there is a little bit of fatigue that begins to creep at all of you. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna go lie down too. It's been a long day.
That it has. And you sequester yourself off to your room.
Mm-hmm.
Nim and Kaelin, anything else?
No, I'm just
No,
going
that-
to my room, I think.
I
Okay.
think he's going to just accept that he's not going to be able to help at all, and then just request back to his room as well. Picking up the tooth that fell on the floor.
Oh, that's hilarious. You all take the benefit of a long rest as you fall into a deep slumber, the night taking you, and the gentle rocking of the ship. However, Nim, as you're sleeping, you're replaying the moments over, and there's one moment where you're running back down that corridor and you see the hulking figure again, and this time you miss, and all of a sudden this bright light shines, and the image switches. You're in a beautiful expanse of meadow and wildflowers. There's the pealing sound of laughter that you can hear off not too far ahead of you. There's a small pagoda-esque building of delicate wood and creeping vines. And you can see two figures sitting there talking. What would you like to do?
Do I recognize the figures?
Make a perception check.
A 17.
You see the beautiful dark hair and a very olive-skinned tone, quite crimson lips and beautifully glowing golden eyes. She's wearing very simple clothing, seemed to be sitting with her legs crossed, and at first you can't quite make out why she's so familiar, but then there's the frame of her shoulders are quite wide, and there's a certain way that she holds herself, and as she reaches up to take a drink from something, you can see like strong forearms and like the hint of a tattoo. The reason you clock her is the long, sharp weapon, curled at either end with metal, but a wooden staff in between. Her glaive is resting behind her. This is someone you do know very well.
I will go up to them and say hello.
Once again, you see as she turns that long, flowing hair, a cascade of rich chestnut waves. Her eyes, usually blue, have this golden light to them. Smiles. And as she speaks, it is the first time you've heard her without a broken accent. This is Sinara, the champion of the Guardian. The person next to her is a large man adorned in beautifully ornate armor and a helm that covers his entire face. And as he sees you're there, he takes it off, and you see the very familiar face of Lysander as they both turn to look at you. Lysander speaks first. Sinara speaks first. My, We weren't expecting you so soon. Glad you could join us.
Happy to be here. Where am I exactly?
This place has many names, but we like to call it our slice of paradise. Those elected and proven worthy to their faith have certain things we're able to do, and she turns to Lysander for a moment with a very genuine, happy face. Lysander, we often use this as some time away from busy lives and to talk even when we can't be in close proximity. There's many like this. I believe wizards call it a demi-plane or some construct. I'm not too sure. But it's nice to be able to talk to you properly.
Yeah, it's lovely to be able to talk to you as well.
Mm-hmm. There's that warm smile, and you feel a radiating warmth from her, almost as if just being in her presence is comforting. There's very fluid grace to her, and as she picks up a mug, she offers it to you, and there's a waft of elderberries and blueberries, and a hint of a very alcoholic tinge to it.
I will take the mug and is there like a spare seat, or are they sat on the floor? Like,
so they're sort of sat on very elaborate cushions. And as you move to sit where you stood, there wasn't one there, and as you move to sit, there's like a soft comfort underneath you. And you look down, and there's an equally elegant pillow.
Yeah, I just kind of like I sit down and I take a sip of the beverage.
Mm-hmm. It's
and
sweet, but very nice.
I say, "Oh, this is delicious." Are you guys still in Iridescent Coast?
He is. I'm not.
Okay. Well, before we went on a little, segue, we were going around those places you mentioned to me, visiting the towns. We dispatched a group of bandits, which we think were being paid by the Darkling Moor to cause chaos. So we've maybe we've kind of disrupted the Darkling Moor a little bit. Maybe. I don't really know what we've just done. I'm still a little bit in shock from it.
We were watching.
Oh,
well,
okay.
I was watching.
Well, then I guess you know why I'm still a little dazed.
No, completely. I wasn't expecting you to be able to come here so soon, but
How did I get here?
maybe you willed it so. I'm not too sure. The longer I stayed in service to her, the more able I was to conjure it at will, but you usually have to be dreaming in order to do it.
Okay.
You watch
so
as Lysander sort of places his cup on the table, and he stands and takes Sonara's hand for a moment and looks at her. Will you be alright if I leave you to her? And she nods gently, and there's a warm look between the two before he wanders off. And as he goes, you see him walk off into the distance, and there's a beautifully white beach, and he just walks into the water and disappears. And you're left, just the two of you.
As I assume he's just woken up.
I would think so. I'm probably sure he has some things to attend to.
Okay. Sorry, I'm still just amazed that this place exists.
It does take a while to get to get adjusting to it, but once you're here, you'll long for it every now and then.
Is there anything you need us to do?
I suppose my time of needing things has passed. I'm sure she'll be in contact soon, but in terms of things I need you to do is just live however you want to.
What do you mean your time of needing things is?
I'm sure it will become apparent. And she just gently sips.
Wait, you're not. No, you can't be. Like, you're.
Dead?
Yeah.
The world isn't so black and white, but in an aspect, yes, part of me is.
Nim just, like, her face drops. She's like. But will you still be here if I need to ask you questions? Like, are you?
I don't know, I've never really died before. I'm a celestial in a way, so I don't quite know how it works.
I didn't think you could die. Oh my god. But there was so much I needed to learn from you. I had so many.
Yes, life is like that sometimes. But I can't tell you how things will play out. It's just something you have to learn.
Yeah. I will miss you. Miss your
Unlike those
physical
that
form.
pass on and are guided by the Weaver, us that stay in faith are forever tied to our respective deity. I will be here every now and then, should your will be strong enough.
Well, then I will make my will strong enough.
Remind me what you took as your feat for level 4.
I took, what is it called? Savage attack. The one that you can reroll your damage.
Mm-hmm. She stands, sort of regains that posture from the very gentle, and there's a authoritative form that it takes. Raises to a stand. She's a little bit unsteady, do you notice? A little bit more frail than as you'd seen her in her physical form. And as she reaches down to offer you a hand up, you watch as beautiful golden light begins to radiate up her arm to assemble the armor that she used to wear, before her other hand clasps the glaive and gestures for you to join her.
I stand and.
Mm-hmm. lifts you to a stand. Come. Perhaps I can still offer some teaching before you wake up.
Oh,
And
yes, please.
we sort of drift away as we watch Nim and Sinara training a little. And you all wake the next morning feeling much more rested, and there's a gentle waft of very oily cooking of meats and various things from the kitchens of the ship. Well, there's a rush of people's feet and walking, and you will have a moment to maybe have a very peaceful breakfast together as you assemble on the lower decks of the ship. You do notice that Persephone isn't with you.
Quick question. The long rest, did it reset our maximum hit points?
Yes.
That
Yes.
were reduced.
Yeah. Yes, you are all well again.
I did not take a single. Well, no, I did take damage, but I still walked out of that with full health. Full health and no diminished max health.
Well done.
Generally can't remember what the plan was. Got to note it down.
Yes, we're all assembling for breakfast as you're dealt a combination of fried fish and potatoes. Very simple, but it's a ship, so it's not exactly going to be 5-star. But once again, you do notice that Persephone and Kozar aren't with you. Maybe they might need some time for whatever they're getting up to. I make no inferences. This is not for me to decide. But they are just friends.
Of course.
Keenan will be late to breakfast for once,
Mm-hmm.
and will be in a particularly good mood.
Okay. You watch as Keenan arrives. His hair's a little more unkempt than usual. And what's everyone's passive perceptions?
Mine is
15.
15.
I'd say you all notice there's a flash of blue and white skin as he quickly shuts his door and then moves off to join you.
Zephyr takes note of this, and when Keenan joins, Zephyr says, "Oh, did he want a drawing too?"
Yeah, we spent much of the night with me doing etchings.
Nice. Titanic
Nice.
style. I like it.
Yeah. It's so nice of you.
Nim is gonna kind of I guess, look around and gather, say to everyone, I'll talk to Persephone later, but I think with that over, there's a few things you should all probably know.
Do tell.
So first, some pretty sad news. I have this new ability to go to a demi-plane from the Guardian. I don't really know how to explain it. I don't understand. But there I met Sinara and Lysander, and unfortunately Sinara has died. She's dead. She's not. Her physical form is not here anymore. Obviously Lysander is fine as far as I'm aware, but Sinara is now. She's not quite sure. But physically she is gone. But was watching us and said we did a great job in, all of the things that we have accomplished. And yeah, do you guys happen to remember the portrait that we found in the vault thing, and the story of the person that was gonna change things, and the child of Masmir, and all of that story?
Rings a bell.
And all,
yeah,
like,
I remember it
the-
vividly, but for the sake
the-
of
the-
other people that may not,
the whole so there are some people who have who basically made a bit of a deal with Asmodeus to get help in the Sundering War, and get the devils on their side, and that guy, the guy Mavos, that kind of led everything, and there was the whole like prophecy of a child of Masmir would make a, out of character. I can't remember if it was make a decision or like make a sway of like basically choosing either like the material plane or the hells, and like
let me find the specific wording of it, but it
Yeah.
essentially went along the lines. It's all very it seemed to be very prophetic in terms of it had a lot of different interpretations and things like that.
Yeah.
But some demons and devilishly inclined people and historians took it to take a sense that the Crimson Ascendant would have a decision to either continue and let the mortal plane continue on, or give it to the rule of Hell, and Hell would become reborn upon the mortal plane.
Yeah. So basically, Nim says all of this, and then it says, so Masmir is my village where I grew up, and when that spirit came out of the thing, apparently there was like this hellish crown on my head, and pretty sure that Mavos is one of my ancestors that like made the deal. So that's a thing. We're a little bit busy at the time, so I thought, we'll deal with this later. But
are you
there
telling
was
us you want to take over the material plane, Nim?
definitely not. That's not a plan.
I will say, with this description, Keenan, you begin to remember about this just simply because of where you come from. That during the sundering of the elemental spire, around 3900 BCE, while the gods and elemental lords struggled to contain the chaos, a small group of outcasts in Masmir saw an opportunity to seek power, and believing the gods had forsaken them, these individuals turned to the archdevils of the Nine Hells. They made a secret pact with Asmodeus, known as the Pact of the Veiled Flame. In exchange for protection and power, they offered their bloodline to serve Asmodeus and his infernal purposes for eternity. Asmodeus accepted that offer, and any descendant was forever marked with his infernal touch, with their horns curling like flames and skin bearing deep crimson hue of the archdevil's own. This is one of the original tales of how some different hues of tieflings became apparent upon Sylvastria.
So Keenan will retell this story with dramatic flair, and then finish by going, so what we need to do, Nim, we need to get you naked to check for any markings. And we'll make a decision from there.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, I have no markings.
Okay.
She like just kind of just stares and is like, I don't think.
Maybe that's done when it's just us around the campfire.
Yeah, I feel in the middle of the ship is maybe not the place.
Bold.
As long as you promise not to like try and take over the world in the meantime.
Definitely no plans of taking over the world. I was very shall we say terrified by the prophecy. As I only discovered it when, we all discovered it in that little chamber thing. So had a little attempt at processing it while we were running away from many undead creatures. And
Understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable. Yeah.
Um
However, not to be all lawyery, but you did say I've got no plans to. Not that I won't try to.
I won't try
think-
to. I
Okay.
promise.
Pinky
Promise,
That's good
and
enough
she
for
like
me. Yeah,
she
I'll
holds
do
up a
pinky
pinky.
promise.
Yeah, she like holds a pinky out to Keenan, shakes it. Is like, I will not take over the material plane and hand it over to the hells.
That is a very good and solemn promise, sworn on the pinky.
Can
Yep.
you make a persuasion or deception, depending on whatever one you want to do, and don't tell us. And
Okay.
can you make an insight roll, please?
Sure. I don't know shit.
21.
She seems very enthusiastic in telling you, and you do believe her. From everything that you've seen, doesn't seem like something she would be doing.
Oh yeah, totally. Like it's not Nim style. This is kind of like Keenan teasing a little bit because she's
Yeah.
And as far as
Not a
she's
megalomaniac.
aware, there is not a marking on her that resembles any sort of devilish inclination.
Like, as far as she was concerned, it like vaguely sounded like her, but what she was pretty sure it wasn't her, and then the whole hellish crown thing happened, and she was a bit like, the fuck. Yeah.
Zephyr chimes in and is like, "You did look good in the crown, though."
Thank you.
Keenan, again, from where you come from, is a little bit, upon telling the story of Masmir, sorry, I finally found the exact wording. It is, if this child were to embrace the full potential of their infernal heritage, they would become the herald for the 9 hells, capable of leading an army of devils and turning the tides in the ongoing blood war, which has existed for beyond millennia.
But that couldn't possibly be you, right, Nim? You.
As far as I'm aware, no, it was just the weird crown thing.
I bet it did look good though. I'd like to see it one day.
Mhm.
Maybe like draw it on you.
Yeah, I mean, the Zephyr saw it, and apparently it was good. The only small concern that I have, how do I tell Persephone, who has mistrust of all things tiefling, that there was a weird hellish crown? I've just kind of got, like, a little bit of friendship going. She started to, like, not think I was the worst person ever.
Persephone has seen a version of this, not that you're aware.
Oh,
Just so you know.
okay. Well, yeah, she's still gonna be like worrying, like,
Keenan's gonna like pat Nim's hand, like the back of her hand, and go, I'm sure like she doesn't hate all tieflings. I mean, she's a tiefling herself, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
but if you're worried about telling her, I can tell her for you if you like. I'll look for the right moment. Weed it into a joke or something. Break
I-
the news gently.
I feel like that that would be quite nice. I feel like she trusts you, and
I mean, she really shouldn't, but hey.
and you may have. You're a lot better with words than I am, as you can tell. Not the best storyteller, so maybe you can spin a lovely tale on my behalf and explain that I intend no bad things, and I made a pinky swear. I made a pinky
You
swear.
did, which is a very solemn oath that if you break, it has dire consequences. So
It
yeah.
does.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can do that for you, no problem. One day when it's just us around the campfire, and by us I mean Kalen, you, Nim, me, Zeph, and Persephone. I think we all need to get to know each other a bit better, and
Yeah.
I might bring it up then, like in kind of like a circle where we kind of disclose things, maybe.
I feel like
There's a lot that I need to tell you all.
Over a lot of drinks, I think.
Yes.
Lots,
Yeah, a bit
lots of drinks.
A little bit of dwarven courage, as they say.
In fact,
Yeah.
there's a really good game that I saw being played in the tavern once called What the Fuck Is Up With That?
Oh my god, I knew it.
I'll
good
teach
game,
it
though.
all to you and we can do that.
It is a good game.
I'm down. I'm down. And thank you all for not getting out pitchforks. My town was very secluded for a reason, and I am very relieved at the lack of pitchforks.
I'm going to be honest with you, Nim. It's kind of a relief that you're telling me this, because until now I thought nobody is that sweet and innocent. That there's always something beneath the surface with somebody, and you just won't give me that. So actually, I kind of relieved that you told me. Happy that you told me.
I mean, this is a much better outcome than I was expecting. Thank you.
If times were different, it might have been a different response from me, but nowadays I judge a person by their character rather than where they're from. You've proven a
Thank
valuable
you.
ally. But I'll discuss it in detail at another time.
And
Thank
you continue on, have a very nice breakfast that day, and not much else happens other than some of you maybe retelling the tale of your actions to Thorn, who could not give a fuck.
Like, oh,
Can
did you see my
each
arrow?
of you roll me a D100, please?
With pleasure.
Mm, 63.
Okay.
Ooh, 94.
Ooh, very nice. Okay.
72.
All right.
62.
Cool. And that's where we're going to take a break. We're going to go do a bio break, go get some water and things like that, and then we'll be right back in about 5 minutes. So until then, bye. So we're back. I was literally burping as I opened that. That's disgusting. The rest of the day seems pretty straightforward. You help out with various different tasks on the ship that you've maybe helped out before. So one of you goes and helps out in the kitchen, and someone else is helping the quartermaster arrange different things. You do see Persephone every now and then. Kozar lingers at her every whim, essentially. There doesn't seem to be any sense of romance that you can tell. But they do sequester themselves away from you quite a lot. And a couple of days pass, and you know that Thorn had said that he was going to take you back to Irides Coast to sort of collect yourselves. Maybe Nim expressed a desire to go back.
I mean, briefly stop off and pick up our horses at Salt Bay.
Can't forget the donkey.
And the
Yeah,
donkey.
Hiccups will kill me if we leave
Well,
Jimothy behind.
He sort of nods and then adds, maybe we'll have one of the crew members pick up them. I've heard you're not too thought of fondly in that area.
That's a really good idea.
Part of me is really hoping that when that crew member arrives, they just find a bandit like lassoed up because I put a trap outside where they were.
But yeah, a couple of days go by and not much happens, but there is one morning where the sea begins to darken and you can see Thorn furrows his brow a little bit. There's a very unnatural stillness that settles over the water. And as you're looking around, can I nominate someone to have a perception check, please?
Or someone else wants to.
I would like to perceive things.
Okay. Zephyr, if you can make a perception check, please.
That's a 9.
You got this.
I don't got this.
A really big 9.
You happen to be leaning over
A massive nine.
just leaning over the side of the ship and absent-mindedly looking off to the horizon and thinking about maybe your dream that you had previous. And there's a couple of shadows that move underneath the water for a minute, and it catches your eye, and they were so quick you couldn't quite look at them quick enough.
Oh my god, is it our not whale friend? I forgot what it was.
Leviathan.
Leviathan, that was it.
Is it more otters?
She doesn't know.
Guys, there's something under the ship.
There we go.
Quick, come look.
And as you all move to look, all together, you don't really need to roll because there's a lot of you. There appears to be large fish, but their shapes are wrong. They've got very elongated bodies, broad, almost like wings. And you can see that towards the head, it comes to a point like they have a beak that seems to shimmer like polished bone. Occasionally, as you see a crew member talking about it, it was just like, there is fish, what are you talking about? And one breaks the surface and there's a feathery raptor-like bird creature with shimmering feathers, and its beak snaps at the air to catch a fish that was trying to escape it. Can you nominate someone to make an Arcana or Nature check?
I guess I could do it. We'll go for an Arcana.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a 14.
It meets it. Nice. You remember through, you sort of have this memory of you in your home, flipping through all the different books that you had to read up on as part of your training. And you remember seeing these. These are feather flicks, but they belong in the Feywild. Very carnivorous, not usually very hostile, but they do cause a lot of mischief. And as you're remembering that, you see a couple of them take flight from the water that circle the ship before diving back below. And as they're doing that, they let out these cries that are really haunting and echoing. A blue-skinned sailor sort of mutters that they say, when the sky meets the sea, the dead fly between worlds, and sort of cowers a little bit and looks to Keenan for a little bit of comfort, probably receiving none.
Yeah. Unless he's pretty.
Yeah. What would we like to do?
Interesting that they're here. Not really supposed to be around here.
Why is that?
Well, you normally see them in the Feywild.
There be another one of them things, you know, when we found the satyr where like things leak through.
We haven't put it past it. I imagine there's tears all over the world. It used to be my job to go clear them up.
Maybe we stop and look and clear them up then. If that's your job.
I guess.
He's a little bit hesitant because he doesn't want to get wet again. Because every time he dived into anything, it's just like...
So the boat is still moving, and they're just seeming to keep track with you.
Yeah, it's all like dolphins.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It shouldn't really cause any issue. It'll cause a little bit of mischief, but unless you openly aggressive towards them, there shouldn't be any problems. I'm sure if it becomes a real issue, I'll get notified in some way or another.
I mean, can anyone chat to them? Stephanie? I mean, no, you're not a druid. You would be able to talk to them.
She's not there.
No, I don't.
Sort of turns to his side. Oh. I think we just keep an eye out then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't see a portal of any kind floating above the water. We should be alright, right?
Is anyone passive perception above 15?
No. Mine is 15.
Well, that works. You watch as one of the sailors goes to grab a musket. Not a musket, they don't have a musket. Crossbow. Whew, that was close.
What, as
Oh,
if
I
to attack
just-
the Featherfix?
You don't know.
Yeah.
I like hold a hand out and I'm just like, don't shoot them. They'll attack if you shoot them. Please don't shoot them.
I don't take orders from you.
Keenan will tie himself to the boat.
Dawn, help!
I'll just shout. I'll just shout out what I told the others to the crew, just to see if they listen. They probably won't, but
It's a fey creature! Kill it!
No!
There's a gentle thud of footsteps as Thorn makes his way up on deck. Sorry, down from the wheel. What's going on?
Featherfix. They're over the edge of the boat. Your crew are
Feather
deciding
what?
to hunt them for food. Creatures of the Feywild. Basically feathered fish.
Right. Dangerous?
Only if you attack them first.
Oh,
as far as
right.
I'm aware.
Yeah. Clay, put that thing down. And he's like... So, do you want to do something with them, or can we just keep going?
Would I know anything else other than what we talked about before? Would I try and remember more? Or...
No, they're usually scavengers. They don't really hunt.
What do they eat, Caleb? Normally.
They're carnivorous, as far as you're aware. So
Other
people.
Fish, people, anything dead, anything dead around them, basically.
Have we
That's
got
how-
any kind of like leftovers we can throw overboard just to distract them while we keep going?
Is it bad that I just had a really dark, intrusive thought?
I also had a really dark intrusive.
I was thinking fish bait.
There might
I
be a
mean-
reason why they're here.
Persephone would murder us all.
You would kill me.
You
If
lose
you
more
saw
teeth.
it.
Oh my god. Definitely
No,
not.
she would kill you.
Yeah.
Fawn would probably kill you.
I was gonna say Nim
Yeah,
would
that's
also
true.
be not happy.
No.
Have I got anything in my inventory? destroy that would kill? Not really. So what I'll do, I'm assuming there's some bait of some kind that they use to fish normally, right? On the ship. It's like
Yeah.
laying around. I'll stab an arrow into a bit of the bait and just like tie a little bit of rope onto the end of it and just like dangle it in the water and just see what they do.
Just immediately, one goes to grab it. Can you make a dexterity saving throw, please?
Yep, sure. 22.
Okay. You immediately feel the rope begin to slip through your hands.
Looks like they're hungry.
We're not fishing for them. If we just throw some more of that bait over the side, that'll keep them busy eating that while we scoot off, right?
Yeah.
I doubt they'll come onto the ship. But if we've got any like scraps that like maybe going off on the ship, maybe just chuck them overboard. Good time to get rid of it. Not just gesture that to the quartermaster. Like, is there any rotten food or anything that we need to get rid of? Because they'll eat anything right now.
He sort of ponders on it and then runs back down below deck. There's a couple of minutes where nothing happens before one of the ship cook, who you know as Cedric, his late 50s, a little bit fat, comes up with a bucket and sort of hands it to you, and you get this waft of foul, slowly decaying fish.
Yeah, I'll just dump it overboard.
Yeah.
On the side with the schooling.
Yeah. And you watch all of them begin to attack and dive, and there's this torrent of swirling feathers and beaks as they are all fighting over to eat something, and the ship begins to move away. Not much else happens that day. A lingering feeling of ominous tension, knowing that perhaps the world isn't quite as peaceful as the past couple of days have tricked you into forgetting. A couple of days go by, and you know that you're closer. You're closer to Irides Coast. And one morning, as Keenan's sort of doing his yoga, much to the crew's annoyance, on the top of the deck in just his undies, a mist begins to curl around the ship like grasping fingers. Keenan, you don't sleep as well as the others. Well,
Nope.
Don't sleep. Much like Kalen, you don't take as long. But it seems to be the early morning, and you're the only person aside from the night crew, who are like two people and one old guy who barely makes sense half the time, although he's very good at mopping, so it's all right. One of them points ahead, and through the mist you can see a small spit of land that the ship is slowly approaching. And he's like, as one of the old men blurts out a cacophony of noises that none of you you don't understand, before the crew looks at you expectantly as if you knew what he was talking about, and then, oh, sorry, he means there's an island, but there's no record of it that we know on the charts. Look over there. And he points ahead. This bit of land is no bigger than maybe, I'm trying to think of things I can equate. Maybe a courtyard. Very small courtyard.
If we discover it, does that mean we get to name it?
Does that mean the mop guy gets to name it?
We could do.
Yeah. Forevermore, the island's known as
No.
That would be dead funny.
As it's getting a little bit closer, still quite far away, you can see that most of the island is smooth black sand, not much vegetation. Make me a perception check.
That's a 14.
Okay. There are a couple of pieces of like bushes and maybe one long palm tree, but the thing that grasps your eye most of all is in the center there's a grand dining table, very ornate and flamboyant, with lit candles and 10 ornate chairs set with fresh exotic food and drink from different regions. And you're all sort of staring at this. It's maybe 100 feet, and the ship has slowed.
Is it okay? Ship is slowed. Island, black sand. Okay. Any sign of life on top of it?
No.
Okay, guys. I don't trust this. There's you know, when things are
Right.
too good to be true, they usually are too good to be true. Like,
Could I
unless I'm
make out
seeing
the
things, like if you're seeing the same as I am, then that's just weird.
Could we make out like the vegetation on the island from where we are, or not?
Not at the moment.
How far roughly are we from it?
About 100 feet.
Just to test if it's a mirage, I'll just fire an arrow in that general direction, see if it like gets in the.
You see a just hits the sand.
Okay. Oh, it looks like it's solid. Doesn't look like it's a mirage.
Well, I'm going to be the first person to set foot on this new land, and he begins to undo one of the rowboats.
I'll tag along with him because I'm
Having kind of heard lots of tales about weird sea creatures and things like that, some completely imaginary, some maybe real, whatever. Keenan is suspect that this is actually like a giant turtle or some other weird giant creature, and is kind of going to be very wary. I'm not so sure that's a good idea.
Zephyr's gonna be a complete troll and cast fly and get there first.
Yeah. So you're
Love it.
hovering above this scene. Like I said, it's about the size of like a standard lounge.
Yeah.
All made of
just flying
sand,
over and
very
make sure I'm
regular
with
looking
you.
islands, vegetation, and that ornate looking. It looks like the scene of a freshly prepared banquet.
Nim just shouts over, "Don't eat it! Probably poison."
I wasn't planning on it. I just want to name the land. And she lands on it and goes, I declare this Zealand.
You see one of the crew members who's like got the rowboat down to the bottom, looks over and he's like, "Oh, come on!"
Keenan's going to call out and go, "But Zephyr, there might already be a Zealand. I think you should call it New Zealand."
Oh my god.
We got our own
Zeph,
version of
make
Blue.
a investigation check.
Investigation. That's a 4.
It's
I'm too happy.
exactly like I
about-
described.
Yep, I'm too happy.
Yeah.
Claiming this land.
It feels normal everything, even the gravity's the same. Like there's nothing going on. And even when you touch like one of the chairs and like gingerly poke the table, it's all real as far as you can tell.
Does the food like smell?
Of food, yeah. And there's a slowly wafting steam in the air that tells you that it's freshly cooked.
Is there any facilities to cook it nearby?
I'd say you see like a smoldering, what looks like a brick dome. Maybe like an oven or some form of fire. Still lit.
Still there, okay. And there's no sign of people?
No. Well, you rolled very low, so no.
No people.
Alan's like in the boat with the crew guy, just like going, "Hurry up! I want to see this."
Yeah, it doesn't take you too long to like make your way over. Is anyone else joining him?
They're gonna die, aren't they? We're gonna have to go across.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll join them begrudgingly.
Yeah.
Zephyr, as they make it to land, Zephyr bows and says, "Welcome to Zealand."
New
My lady.
Zealand.
Until you find me Old Zealand, this is Zealand. And even then, Old Zealand could become Old Zealand, and this can just stay Zealand.
Okay. And then like Keenan's gonna kind of go to like near the water's edge and kind of like make like a little moat. So there's like a little patch of sand surrounded by water and go, "This is New Zealand."
Love it.
But yeah, you were all feet on the ground.
Zephyr goes and picks up a piece of food and throws it at Keenan.
Yeah, very easily, just a soft bunk, and
And
like a gentle squelch as it falls off.
I believe that Zealand declaring war on New Zealand.
You invaded my territory. Could be worse. You could be claiming it and trying to rename it Red, White, and Blue Land.
God.
It's the Gulf of
God.
Zealand, right?
Yeah.
Can I ping off a detect magic as we're like walking along?
Yes, you can. There's nothing that you can tell.
Okay.
There is some like faint illusionary aura, but the best you can tell is maybe it keeps it being hidden from sight.
Can I want to use a divine sense. So that's anything with the hallow spell, any celestial, fiend, or undead.
Nope, none of them. Nothing pings as you watch this radiant light emanate from her and then fade.
I'll be like,
Why?
seems like nothing's here.
Wait, detect magic. Will, like,
Gave an illusionary thing.
huh?
Gave me like an illusionary ping, but nothing
Okay.
crazy. More like it was obscuring something from being seen.
Mm-hmm.
Would
Was that coming from anywhere in particular, or was it just
No.
general?
Just in general.
Would that include like invisibility, or is that more like illusion magic?
I think I can't remember what school of magic it is. But yeah, it would.
You could just go all out and just cast fairy fire on the table.
Maybe this is like a divine reward for all the hard work we did rescuing all those people.
Zephyr's gonna cast see invisibility,
Ooh. Okay.
which you see invisible creatures and objects as if they were visible, and you can also see into the ethereal plane.
Make
Ethereal
me
people.
a perception check, please.
Okay. One sec. It's gonna be awful. Yeah, 11.
Nothing that you can see.
Interesting.
Okay, if I die, someone bring me back, and I'm gonna sit at the table and start eating.
But Persephone's not here.
Make a
I'll
wisdom
bring
save
you
for me.
back.
This is giving me such Share Agora vibes, and I so want to entertain it. I've done the recklessly too much recently.
That's a 6 on my wisdom save.
Yes. This food is probably the best food you've ever eaten. And as you're doing it, you just get a flood of memories of eating with your family, and you're very content to just sit here for as long as it takes you to devour all of the food on this table.
Excellent. I'm kind of doing that like prison thing of like one hand guarding my plate and just shoveling it in.
Wait, did you say Keenan ate all the food?
No, he wants
He's
to.
trying to.
He's
Oh,
trying
he
to.
wants to, right. I was gonna say, I was like, jeez.
But his
I
plate, he
walk up
like
to him.
fills up his plate with like a large mound. You guys can't see anything other than he just seems to love the food.
I walk
That's
up to him
about
and
it.
just slap him across the face, see if it breaks him out of it.
Roll to hit.
Is that just like an unarmed?
Yes, that's an unarmed strike.
Oh, I miss. That's a 5.
You just whiff, and he blocks you with a drumstick.
Just holds up a plate and just like crumbles. Right.
Just be like, Keenan, are you feeling okay?
I was like,
Would Zephyr have mentioned that she was casting to see invisibility to everyone or not?
Remind me the components for that.
I can indeed. It's verbal, somatic, material.
Yeah. So you would have heard her speaking some form of prayer.
Okay. In that case, as Kanan would like to know what's going on because he's getting a vibe that there's something going on, he's going to cast Fairy Fire over the table just to see if anything
Okay,
does
remind me
pop up.
what Fairy Fire does.
It creates a 20-foot cube, and each creature in the cube is also outlined. If it fails a dexterity saving throw for the duration, objects and creatures shed a dim light at 10-foot radius and cannot benefit from the invisible condition. Any attack rolls made against the creature or object, are advantage if the attacker can see it.
Wait, read it out again.
20-foot cube. If anything's invisible inside us, make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
They're lit up like a Christmas tree, and we get advantage.
Yeah. You watch this eruption of beautiful silver light. Nothing outlined.
Okay. It's definitely something fishy going on here, because Keenan never has this much of an appetite.
Fishy? Where's the fish? Hang on.
Food at least.
Someone with a heavier hand want to give it a go? He's going to gesture over to Nim.
Nim like walks up and just goes to give him like a gentle slap round to the face.
Okay, yeah, roll to hit him.
PvP over dinner.
That's a 15.
That'll hit.
Yep. And roll your damage.
So it's 5 points of damage.
Yeah.
We're taking turns beating up.
You just feel a metal gloved hand smack you. You can remake your wisdom save.
I was thinking it could have been really funny if I cast Catapult on the plate he was trying to eat, but I thought I'd go with the Fairy Fire.
See, I rolled a 5. However, I've just noticed that I do have advantage against being charmed.
Oh, you can roll it twice then.
That's a 10.
Nope. You feel like a strange presence with all of you there. There's only Keenan feels this. Like there's something else there with you, but it feels comforting, almost like someone's giving you this food and making you feel safe.
like I said, guys, this is like a divine gift because of like all the good work we've done. Nom 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 nom.
I really don't think it is, Keenan.
There's not an immediacy to the way he's eating. He's just getting through it.
I mean, we founded Zealand and New Zealand. Shall we go back on the boat?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I mean, you really should try the food, and I just want to have a bit of this first.
I'm guessing he's in the trance of even if we try to drag him away, he's going to run back, right?
You can make an insight check if you want.
Yeah, sure. That's a 12.
Keenan, what do you think?
Based on your description, I think he'd go with them because it's just like it just tastes really good, right?
Yeah.
He's not compelled to stay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like a bit disgruntled, he'd be like, "Oh, missing out on a really good meal now."
Before I try and drag him away, I'll put my hand on his shoulder and just go, "What did that voice sound like you were hearing? Because you said it sounded comforting, right?"
I didn't hear any voice. It just feels comforting.
Where did we get the presents from? Was that from the detect magic thing?
Above table, I'm having flashbacks to the orb.
To the orb.
Right.
That's so long ago.
That's so long ago.
Where,
Smash that,
funnily enough, Nim slapped Keenan then as well.
He did.
Yeah.
Actually did, yeah.
The chaos gremlin in me wants to start eating next to him. But I've caused so much chaos recently. I'm trying to
As
step back.
you drag Keenan away, Keenan, you now realise how full you are. And there's like a bloating, like
Jesus, my
heavy.
stomach hurts. Oh. Oh, I feel sick now. Oh, dear me. Good food, though.
Zephyr would like to take a bit of the food with her to the ship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Nominate someone to make a perception check. I'd say with advantage with all of your magical stuff going on.
Me nominate someone, or just
Anyone?
Anyone.
Mhm.
Someone nominate themselves.
It's a wisdom-based check, so one of the wise ones want to take it.
I nominate Persephone.
She's not with you.
Yeah, she's
No.
not.
Yeah, it's not.
Keenan's
Can I
like,
do the perception
oh.
Like I have a +0. I'm like no help
Can
here.
I do the perception check?
I mean, I'll do it.
Keenan
Anyone can do it. It's just one of you.
Yeah. Keenan in his food trance. can do it.
18.
Ooh, as that is sort of that lingering feeling of delightful comfort is fading a little bit. So much so that you don't want to eat everything on the table anymore. You notice like a slithering black flesh-like tendril replace the food you had eaten. So you just see it raise up, and another tray has appeared, and it just places it in its place, and then like snakes back underneath the
Guys,
table.
what was that?
What was what?
The thing that put food back on the table?
As he
Is
points
it-
that out, you do
Tentacle?
see it snake back underneath the table.
The table, is it covered by a tablecloth?
It is,
Can I go look under the tablecloth?
if you want, yeah. So you go and peer, and you lift it up.
Yeah.
There's just more black sand.
What?
like Keenan full kind of like hand puppet like demonstrates like the tentacle came up like this and then put a plate of food on there and then kind of like slivered back down.
Yeah, and then as he's
Ooh.
saying that, you sort of notice, as Nim is still looking under there, you watch one of these tendrils erupt from the sand, carrying a jug, and replaces the wine that Keenan had drunk, and then snakes back underneath the sand, which disappears again.
Zephyr starts digging a hole.
Would I recognize the tendril of any kind with my?
Not as
Knowledge of
far as
books
you
and
know,
stuff?
no.
Okay.
With your knowledge of tendrils.
He's really into hentai, okay?
Who said they were digging a hole?
Zephyr.
Okay, yeah. How are you digging the hole?
With her hands.
Okay, so you're just scrabbling at the sand.
Yeah, like a little. puppy
It just
dog,
keeps
basically.
going, sort of filling it back in a little bit. Yeah.
She's so confused. She takes 3 psychic damage. So she stands back up and she goes, "Guys, what do you think would happen if I grab one end of the tablecloth and just pull the whole, like, everything off the table?"
I've seen that trick. See if you can like pull the tablecloth and with everything still stuck on it.
It's a
Yeah,
very
do it.
long table as
Yeah.
well.
Can I try something if someone's like before you do that? I'm gonna
Okay.
take a piece of the food off the table,
Okay.
throw it on the ground. So like, hopefully the tendril will come back up, right?
Maybe.
Try
In
and-
theory.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna chuck the bit on the floor, see if it like comes up to like remake the table. And
Yeah.
then when I see the tendril, I'm gonna try and mind link to it to see if I can communicate with it.
How does mindling work?
So you can speak telepathically to any creature you can see within 40 feet of you. You don't have to share a language, but the creature must be able to understand. It must be able to speak at least one language. It has to be intelligent enough to understand speech, basically.
Okay. Yep. So you
Which I
throw that
assume
food
it
on the
would be if it's
ground, and
speaking.
as it pops up, it's like, "Whoa."
The claw.
The claw. Yeah. You immediately see this tendril, and you make that link, and you feel this very deep, ancient presence enter your mind. Meanwhile, Zephyr, tablecloth. What are we doing?
No, I'm waiting for this mind link
Okay.
to work itself out.
Kaylin,
Mm-hmm.
you hear in your mind, oh God, what do you hear? Well, yeah, you hear in your mind, who disturbs me? Who speaks my language?
Do they know what language he's talking in, or do I just? Is it?
It,
just
to you, it sounds like common.
Okay, cool. I'll go with. Hi, I'm Kaylin. We found this island on our way back. My friend really liked the food you put out. Just curious if you're okay with us being here, or you'd like us to leave.
You have taken a seat. The others will feed me. And you feel a gentle rumble hit the sand.
Oh no.
And you see like the grains of sand begin to vibrate.
I'm just gonna like shout, guys, start running. I'll just go, sorry, and I'll just say back telepathically to her. Really didn't mean to disturb you. It was places that no one knew about. We just came here out of curiosity. Sorry to disturb. I'm just curious. sorry for my friend eating something that you're about, and he's just kind of like slowly backpedal, just like, oh shit,
Yeah.
oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
As that's happening, you hear, I shall feast upon your corpses. I shall drag you all beneath. And that sand is beginning to move. And it's in the distance you begin to see the churning of white as some of the water starts to be disturbed.
Bro.
Guessing you're all scrambling for the boat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
You quickly all jump on and begin rowing away as you watch jagged islands begin to rise from the ocean all around the island, almost adding to it. And it's only when you're just close enough to see it, you see barnacles and white and small fish caught underneath it, and you see the rising shadow of this happen. I need whoever's rowing, so 2 of you, to make a strength check for me.
I think
Um,
Nim would have just automatically been rowing.
Fair enough.
Instead of rowing, can Zephyr? I don't know if I've watched too many cartoons. Can Zephyr have cast Gust and use it as an engine to push the
Absolutely,
boat
yeah.
on?
The rule of
Yes.
cool, I don't even care about anything else. Can everyone make a dex save, apart from Nim, as you brace yourself for this jet engine powered rowboat?
As we're doing that, can I kind of like reach my hand to the water, like just on the edge, like fingers in, and just do shocking grasp as we're going along?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. It's just a lightning boat that's being propelled by wind.
That's a 9 on my deck save.
Okay.
15 on mine.
There's a nat 1 on me.
Oh my god.
Well, are you not still flying? I know it's 10 minutes, isn't it?
No, yeah.
That's awkward. As that happens, I will say Kaelin falls into the boat. Zephyr, you fall out.
Oh
That's a
no.
nat 1. And the boat just goes straight past you.
Zeph's just left in the water.
She's in the water at the
I
moment,
was
and you
the
see
one
these
propelling the
rising,
boat.
the rising shadows of these islands begin to get bigger and bigger. They're about 6 feet at this point.
Zephyr tries to swim after the boat.
And
Wait,
he's
Okay.
like, oh,
I've just got a
shit.
picture of
If she's
Zephyr
still
now, like
casting-
just being propelled through the water with the
Yeah,
gust
if
of
she's
air.
still casting Gas, can Zephyr continue to gust to the
I will say, yeah,
boat?
you look like
Yeah.
a small rocketing blue, like through the water as it's casting massive waves. The boat still has a little propulsion, and you watch it like rock over part of the still rising island that hadn't quite reached a peak that the boat wouldn't be able to cross. I'd say you both managed to get out, because that's pretty inventive, as you watch almost like hoverjet style. Zeph goes under, and you're like, oh no, and so she bursts out of the water and sort of hits the side of the ship and then falls back into the rowboat. The rising islands continue until you see dark hints of green and red, and then a scale as this massive maw of a creature begins to close around the island, and you see thousands of eyes that scope around part of its skull and a long twisting set of tendrils that act as its tongue. This is a sea monster. It's very obvious at this point, and it's just like, and then drags it beneath the sea. Kaelin, you hear in your head, and I was so hungry, before it fades out. There is a slowness to how it rose and moved, and you know that it wouldn't be, upon seeing all of this, you know that it wouldn't be quick enough to like attack a ship or drag people under without coaxing them first. Keenan, can you make a Constitution saving throw, please?
With seeing all of that going on, would I have any more idea of what it would be?
Yeah, this is a form of, like, everyone says Leviathan and think giant serpent snake.
Yeah.
That is true because a lot of them in Sylvastia are a certain species. Not to say that there aren't other aberrant versions of Leviathans, like massive toads and giant fishes with lights on them and very, like, think deep sea-esque creatures, but on a massive scale, and this is one of them.
I'm just imagining Tentacruel.
It basically tried to angle a fishes with a banquet.
It's
Yes.
true.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
17 on my con
Okay.
save.
You vomit, and as it's coming back out, you're expecting to see, like, bits of chicken and bread and things like that. You vomit out a crab, a bunch of fish skulls. You're not too sure what the other one is. Alongside
Human
some of this, and it's then you realize that part of this creature's digestive system is its ability to turn. It's not quite. It is a magical creature, but it's not a spell. So it is able to turn detritus and rotting flesh. Anything that it can't digest is then repurposed as food that would be appealing to its prey. And there's like a sickening feeling in your gut as you realize that you've just been gorging on giant fish regurgitation.
Nice. Yeah, he's going to try and heave a bit more, like completely empty his stomach out. Like,
Yeah. There's just chunky sounds of items hitting water. You don't take any damage, but it is just gross.
This is Mel saying this and not Zephyr, because Zephyr would never. But honestly, is that the worst thing that's ever been in Keenan's mouth?
Oh my god.
That is so good. I love that.
I really want him to be really mean
That
and
is
just
so
hand him a vial of that algae and just say down this, that say get some kind of medicine.
I'm going to go and find Persephone because she'll understand and make me feel better.
Yeah, you walk past a rather very attractive looking Earth Genasi who offers you a piece of charcoal as you pass by. And he's like, eat that.
Take it. Like, Keenan's feeling sorry for himself.
Bit vomit covered.
Yeah.
Just like dribbling down. Oh.
Oh. Disgusting.
Looks like he's just wandered out the club toilets. It's like, I'm good.
From up, I'm good. Keep going.
You see Thorn is now awake and has like a coffee in one hand and is scribbling in a journal. And as he sort of very whimsically smirks at you guys, he's like, haven't seen that one in a while. Just doodling in his journal. I wouldn't advise eating the food if I were you.
Too late.
Oh, right. Well, at least you're not
They made me do it.
No one made you do anything.
I tried everything in my power not to eat food. I used both my spell slots.
The rest of the evening is a revelry of telling stories of leviathans and creatures of the deep, and a lot of talk of rumor and myth and making fun of Keenan. And you'll turn in and have a very rest-filled night. The following journey, again, takes a very reminiscent setting. You have a couple of storms that some of you have to tie yourselves down or clip in for Persephone. And the morning sun breaks through the last remnants of that storm, casting golden light over the sea. You're all very tired, and the air is warm and crisp. there is a scream and a thud as you watch one of the crew members hit the deck, dead. And all the rest of them are looking around and look up to see what happened. They all scrambling, try and save their friend and figure out what's going on. What would you like to do?
I go over and inspect his wounds to see what maybe went on other than just impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, make a medicine check. Anyone else? What are we doing?
Look it up, see what's going on.
Yep.
19.
Yeah, it's the fall that killed him.
Just the fall. Nothing else.
No. As you're looking up, there's a small piece of rigging that's frayed and sort of flapping in the wind.
Not my crow's nest.
Nim, Zephyr?
How high up is the rigging?
I don't know. 50 feet?
Is there like anywhere she can climb to like inspect it?
Yeah, make athletics.
Hey, nat 20.
Nice. You
Hey.
scramble up the side of this net-like part of the rigging that leads to where he fell, and you're very quick up there, almost in a surprising amount. Yeah, you can now look at it. It looks like this may have been cut.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to check.
I'd say Nim is like checking the skies for a sign of like, I don't know, a creature that's attacked the boat.
Yeah, as far as you can tell, nothing. Zephyr, from your perspective, you can see the sea has shifted from a deep blue to a dazzling shade of turquoise. And beneath the ship, a coral reef stretches out in a breathtaking display of color. Vivid reds, shimmering purples, and it all seems to pulse with an inner light. There's schools of iridescent fish that dart through the corals, and the water is so clear you can see every detail as though gazing through glass.
Is there anything in the water that looks amiss?
No, not as far as you know.
Of the crew members I can see on the ship below me,
Mm-hmm.
do they all look familiar?
Make a perception check.
Okay. 18.
Yeah, you recognize almost all of them.
Okay. So nobody like
Almost.
stands out as like.
Well, I mean, like of everyone she can see, they all seem. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, she'll climb back down. And tell the others that the rigging looks like it was cut and not like snapped.
You see Thorn is kneeling over the body. Well, looks like we need to interview everyone. Me and Persephone will take care of it. You guys investigate a little more. And he begins telling the crew to line up towards his cabin, and one by one they're all moving in. What would the rest of you like to do?
Zephyr, do you have that thing that like some clerics can do where they can talk to people in this state?
No, I don't.
In this state. You mean death? Yes.
I cannot talk to dead people.
I mean, we can all talk to them, it's just they can't talk back.
That's a very fair
Yeah.
point.
I can't
Just
do
as,
that.
just as a random thing to try, Caden's just going to use Shocking Grasp and just shock his chest just to see if he restarts just for a second. Even though it's probably mush, but
There's a and then nothing. But you do notice there's this very severe head wound, like open part of his skull that's just bleeding.
Can I search that guy's corpse just to see if there's anything out of the ordinary?
What's wrong with you? Yeah, I mean, yeah, make an investigation check.
I mean, Persephone's not here, so.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
That's an 8. I see nothing.
You find pieces of lint, maybe a copper coin, and not much else. Some bits of thread. Nim, make another perception check for me as you're still looking around the sky and things.
That is an 18.
There is a strange laughter that drifts through the air, very high-pitched and musical, like the chime of very delicate bells. And you can see there's, even though it's morning, there's fireflies that seem to drift up from the corals in a very shimmering light.
Could we believe our eyes?
Oh my god.
Maybe someone's doing that trick I do where that you can go invisible.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's go see invisibility.
I've used all my spells.
You had a long rest.
Oh, we had a long rest.
Yeah, yeah. Hence why I said you all had a very restful night.
Yep.
I
Zephyr
didn't want
casts
to
the
assume.
invisibility.
You don't see anything new.
Anything new?
No, just those weird glowing fireflies.
Out of character for a second, I'm thinking it's who just fucking with us or tried us.
Why didn't I think of that? Fuck. Ooh.
Or
Ooh.
I know this isn't going to go anywhere, but this is where Keenan will be thinking. Does the dead guy have like a blade on him, like a dagger, a rapier, anything like that?
He's got a sheathed rapier on him, yeah.
Keenan's going to point at it and ask Zeph, who saw the cuts up above, do you think that could have made the cuts?
I mean, I'm not really
Make a history check for me.
an expert forensic scientist.
You might be, you don't know.
Could be. That is a nat 1.
You have no fucking idea.
Well,
I
I
think-
don't know.
To be fair, he couldn't have cut it and then sheathed it.
And then jump down to his death?
But,
maybe
you know,
he tried to
rule it
carve
out.
on
Maybe he fell.
Maybe.
How does it feel like when you fall down like that, Keenan? Kaelin?
I'm Keenan.
That's why I always have. He just pulls out a feather out of his pocket. That's why I always carry this now.
I like to think that Kaelin with the feather is like when Mario gets the feather
Yahoo!
and becomes a raccoon.
Unfortunately, no, but that is hilarious.
Oh.
Just pulls the cowl of his cloak over and he just turns him like all owl-like.
Oh my god, you're like Moon Knight. Sorry.
Totally wasn't intentional at all.
I've seen you play Rivals.
I'll climb up on the rigging where Nim and Zeph were looking before, and I'll just see if I can notice anything new.
I don't think you need to roll. There are more. There's like a firefly that seems to hover around it.
Was in like circling, like look here, sort of thing, or is
No,
it
it seems
like
to be
natural
resting
movement?
on it.
Great. I'll touch the firefly.
Okay. Make an Arcana or a Nature check for me,
Go for Arcana.
and you can roll with advantage
Yay!
for reasons that will become apparent.
18.
As you go to touch it, the glow seems to dim a little bit, and you feel a small poke and a sharp pain as a little winged figure, no taller than a human hand, shoves a little tiny dagger at your finger, and flits through the rigging across the deck. It's then that, as seeing this, you start to see more of them in between the light that you assumed was fireflies, and that pealing laughter of tiny, delicate bells rings out as they're all flitting around. You notice one tugs at one of the ropes curiously and undoes a little knot with their delicate fingers. And one perches on a sailor's hat, another dips into a sailor's drink and does like a backstroke, while a group of them forms a tiny ring spinning in a circle mid-air, giggling as they dance. And one ties a sailor's boots together, one swaps a crew member's compass with like a useless trinket and then throws the compass over the side. One of them's whispering in one of the sailors' ears as they're playing cards, and he just seems to be winning unusually.
Hmm.
I thought you were gonna say whispering and saying, "Hey, listen, hey."
Listen.
No.
Would Kalen? I'm assuming these are pixies. Would Kalen know that? not?
These are. Make a history check for me.
History.
Oh no, because you passed your
Freshly
you passed your
caught.
Arcana check. So these are fairies. These are fairies. You know that fairies come in different shapes and sizes and different versions. Some people do call them pixies, depending on what version that is. But you don't know specifically who or what these things are, other than fairies.
Yeah, I was just assuming that they'd be pixies because they're tricksters. Right, so they're all over the ship. I'm just gonna chat down to the others. Looks like we got some Fey friends causing a bit of mischief.
Wow.
They're not actually fireflies. He's not gonna say what they actually are. He's just gonna kind of like wander down, just see their reaction.
What do we do? Can we? Are they harmful? Are they nice? Are they?
Taking it general, they normally like to play pranks and mess around with stuff. They're not normally violent unless provoked, as far as I'm aware.
I don't really like pranks.
And I'm just gonna mind link with the closest what I can find and just go, why the hell are you? Why are you here? I'm all for a good prank, but this guy's just fallen to his death, so someone needs to talk.
We did not mean to harm him. Please don't hurt us.
Insight check.
Yeah, go for it.
Dirty 20.
They seem to be telling the truth.
Right.
While they enjoy a bit of mischief, did not mean to kill him.
Okay. I'll say to the rest of the crew that's like standing in the queue waiting to go see Thorn, just be a little bit careful. They like playing jokes. They didn't mean to hurt the guy, but I think we need to let Thorn know.
One of them nods and then moves to go and tell him.
Aiden, can you ask them to leave?
I kind of want to know why they're here. I'll start off with just saying, so how did you get here? Because you're not normally here.
We saw something new. We wanted to explore.
Is in like somewhere opened up, or you just appeared here?
Like a door.
Okay. Right. There's probably a bigger issue going on here, especially seeing what we saw out in the ocean. I need to go talk to Thorn, and I'll just say to the pixie or fairy, whatever's the one I'm talking to, in front of me, and just go, I know you like your fun, and I know it's so hilarious seeing people fall over, but when they fall from that height, they don't have wings to fly like you, and that guy is now a pancake on the floor, and it's caused a lot of problems. If you can try, just have fun like normal, like that guy over there with the cards. Just have
You
fun like
see,
that.
their light dims almost completely, and they're very forlorn.
I don't want to be mean, but just give me a moment of peace, and I'll see if I can talk things over, okay? And I'll start working my way towards the front of the queue to see if I can talk to Thorn.
Yeah. As you open the door, he's like, "Who did? Oh, it's just you. What?"
Seeing what we saw with the feather fix and what we saw when we initially started our journey with the portal and the satyr, I think we've got a big issue at the minute. There seems to be portals opening up all over the place. This is stuff I used to deal with back home. Have you had any reports from anyone else about anything going on?
I mean, a couple. I don't know. You'd have to talk to someone more intelligent than me. I get the report, so I don't know what to make of it.
Okay, I'll make a call in to the postmaster, Ravenkeeper, whatever you want to call it, when we get back into the coast. And
Yeah.
see what can
I don't
find out.
know. I don't know who you could.
I'll reach back home, see if I can get some information. If anything's going on, they probably know about it.
That makes sense.
Might take a while to get a response, but we'll see. But also, just to let you know, unless anyone else didn't tell you, all the things outside that look like fireflies are actually like fairies. They were the reason the guy fell off. They apologized, and they're
Fairies are
kind of chilling out at
real?
the minute.
What the fuck?
Feywild.
Yeah.
They came through a portal, caused a little bit of mischief. I've just told them to calm down for now. Seem to be responding. They kind of sat down a little bit sad. I felt a little bit bad because of that, because I was being a bit harsh, but they seem to be okay for now. So it wasn't one of you crew, just to let you know. I'm going to go back to the others and see what they want to do. I'll keep you updated. No,
Cool.
Wander out to the others.
They're still flitting about, not so much causing mischief. They're just kind of looking at stuff. And the one that looks very forlorn has floated gently to the deck.
Is this the one I was talking to before?
Mm-hmm.
Is everything all right?
Yes, we're just very sorry.
Accidents happen, but I know it's a little bit different in the Feywild, but here actions have consequences. But I've talked to the captain. He understands it's a mistake. But if you can keep the dangerous mischief, so pranks are fine, but just not anything that will hurt anyone, to a minimum for now. That would be appreciated, just whilst we try and smooth things over.
All of the crew are just very stoically not moving and just moving their eyes. You watch as this fairy nods and flits off, and you watch them all begin to group together, and they seem to be talking or conversating, and it's very melodious, and it just sounds like the tinkling of wind chimes. A little time goes by, and as you're all standing there, sort of a group, the one you were talking to returns, and they offer a piece of glowing pink coral. It looks like it's been adorned with a small piece of thin metal at the back. Would you accept this gift?
I'll like open up my bag and just say drop it in there, and I'll have a look at it later.
Yeah, and they drop it in.
Not actually touching it, just I'll accept it but not touch it.
We shall go back to the water and not make anyone sleep again. And they drift off, and you see them touch the water and go beneath. The crew is very unsettled, and there's whispers of that they're cursed now, and although they begin to organize between all of them a brief ceremony to honor the young crewmen who'd fallen, and you've seen them do this before. There does seem to be that sense that they're all cursed now, and there are every omen that can befall them will. And the sun begins to set.
Kalen, did you just accept a gift from a fairy?
I didn't touch it though.
You know that doesn't end well in the stories, right?
he wouldn't know that, to be fair.
It's tantamount to thanking them.
You'd know that making deals with Fae is very advised that you shouldn't do it, especially where you live. But technically, it wasn't a deal. She just gave you a gift. So.
Yeah.
Zephyr says to Keenan, "Says the one who ate Leviathan vomit."
That's so true.
I really wanted to ask a name, but then I thought I'm gonna one put you on the spot, and two I'm gonna have to remember about it because it's gonna come up at some point otherwise.
No, you could have asked her name if you wanted to. I have it.
Yeah.
Yes, I may have eaten Leviathan stuff, but if you remember, mine was the voice saying we shouldn't go on that island.
True.
And while we're on the subject, Nim, I understand and totally get why you slapped me. However, can we come up with a different plan in future? Because that's happened a couple of times now, and it's 2 more times than I would like. Like, can we have a code word or something?
No code word for you.
Right. Okay.
To be fair, I think even if we had a code word, it probably wouldn't have made much of a difference. You were very
Oh, hang on. Sorry, I was talking and I was on mute. That is unhelpful. Yeah, so we can have a code word. I feel like maybe it might be a little bit difficult for you to use if you're, under a spell, but happy to come up with a code word. What code word would you like?
Or something else. Just, something maybe a little less violent.
That's fair. That's fair. I see this as a
I really don't hold it against you, I promise. I'm just asking for future situations.
There's gotta be another way that I could to snap you out of it, maybe.
Yeah. We'll workshop it.
We'll workshop. Yeah, let's workshop it. We'll do that.
next time. Nim just gives him a wet willy.
Yep.
Yep.
The evening begins to draw in. You see the lights of the glowing coral flickers out like dying stars. The waves are calm and the wind is still. What would you like to do?
Zephyr's staring out into the ocean, mourning the loss of her land.
Oh,
Oh,
that's kind of cute. Anyone else?
I don't know. I think he'd probably be thinking about like this cool new Leviathan that they just saw, and he's thinking back to his little gnome friend, and he's like, "Should I drop them an update or shouldn't I?" Because he's not too sure if he can trust them properly yet. But his main thing on his mind's going to be rushing to like the postmaster as soon as he gets back to try and get word back home.
I think Keenan will be trying to lift the crew's morale if they're kind of like, oh, you know, we're cursed now. He'll be going around just kind of like chatting to people, playing cards, just kind of lifting everyone's spirits of, curses aren't a real thing, right?
Yeah, definitely not a real thing.
The rest of the day or night is very uneventful. And you all begin to draw in to your respective rooms. It's become very comforting that you all have a different style that's a bit of an homage to you. Yeah. Get another good rest. The final leg of the journey, again, not much happens other than the occasional fishing or spotting of another merchant vessel. And one morning, you're all standing there drinking what Thorn had offered you was very beautifully fragrant coffee, and begin to see in the distance a soft twinkling light that radiates along the horizon, maybe a couple of centimeters above the sea. Zephyr, you're the first to sort of recognize this visage. As the landscape of very familiar cliffs comes into view. And that's where we're going to end our session. Woo! Before we do, is Kalen looking into his gift at all? Is what I need to know.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's gonna ritually cast Identify. Like he's gonna like peel it out of his bag without touching it onto like his bed and just go Identify because he doesn't trust it.
So it's a sea fairy brooch, made of coral, and it will transform your cloak into a magical item, known as the Cloak of the Manta Ray.
Ooh.
Which you have
Very
to
cool.
attune to.
Very cool.
Is that like I transform it, then my cloak's gone forever sort of thing, and it just changes into the Cloak of Manta Ray?
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah. And that's where we're going to end our session. And there is no campaign tomorrow because everyone has lives and probably things to do. And I wish you all a very happy Valentine's Day for all those that can go off. And, that's so sweet. So there isn't a stream tomorrow, although I might still be about and doing various things. And don't forget that very soon we're going to be running giveaways, so you can receive some mystery dice. Ooh. I believe it's starting out with resin, and then there might even be some metal ones splintered in there every now and then, which are very cool because I've got one and it's epic. Aside from that, thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you next time on Stormcaller's Fury. So if you guys can say goodbye.
See you next time, guys.
There we go.
See you guys.
Bye.
We'll see you then.
Bye.